There's a water collection system you can build this weekend for under $150 that can offset up to 60% of a household's entire potable water demand, confirmed by peer-reviewed research from multiple countries. Not almost as effective, not comparable, measurably, provably better than paying a utility company for. Water that falls free on your roof every time it rains. It costs nothing to fall, it has always fallen, and yet a $47 billion industry exists in the United States alone to convince you that water needs to be bought, bottled, and delivered to you in single-use plastic. Researchers at Australia's University of Technology studying 27 homes with rooftop collection systems documented water bill reductions of up to 60% per household. A 2014 study published in the journal Sustainability confirmed those findings across climates from Brazil to Germany to sub-Saharan Africa. It removes your dependence on municipal lines, it functions during outages, it replenishes groundwater instead of sending runoff into storm drains. The bottled water industry in the United States alone is worth $47 billion. The players are large and they are organized, and they have very strong reasons to make sure the words rainwater harvesting never become the first thing a new homeowner hears at closing. And in Colorado, until as recently as 2016, collecting the rain that fell on your own roof was not a gray area. It was illegal, not unregulated, not discouraged. Illegal. That's it for a moment. They did not forget this existed. That would be an accident. They buried it. That was not an accident. It was a decision. This is the story of rainwater harvesting, what it does, how every advanced civilization on Earth figured it out independently, and why water independence was never supposed to reach you. Welcome back to Science of Survival, where we open the vaults. Hit subscribe and the bell if you are not already in. Around 3000 BC, in the limestone hills of what is now southern Israel, in the region the ancient world called the Negev, communities were dying, not from war, from thirst. The Negev desert received enough rainfall to sustain life, but just barely, and not where the people lived. The rains came fast, ran hard, and vanished into gullies before anyone could use them, so the people cut. They cut channels into hillsides, low stone walls angled precisely to funnel runoff down toward carved cisterns in the rock, not randomly placed, calculated. Archaeologists excavating sites in the Negev have found these systems intact, holding their angles true after 5,000 years. They fed drinking water, they fed terraced agriculture. Entire cities grew in a desert because someone understood that you do not chase water, you intercept it. Archaeological evidence from these sites has been documented since the 1950s and is confirmed in the academic record. 4,000 years later and 9,000 miles away, on the other side of the planet, the ancient cities of the Indus Valley were doing something the Negev builders would have recognized immediately. By 2000 BC, the great cities of the Indus civilization, Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa, had cut huge vats into rock to catch monsoon rainfall. Hundreds of miles of stone gullies wove through city streets, routing water toward these reservoirs. The civilization built what historians call Johad's earthen dams that captured and held rainwater across seasons. They built Baoris deep-stepped wells for drinking. They built Jalaris ritual tanks fed by rooftop runoff. These were not emergency measures. They were civil infrastructure, planned, engineered, permanent. The Renewable Energy Hub's documented review of ancient Indian water systems, drawing on archaeological records, confirms that some of these rock vats are still in use in parts of rural India today. 3 centuries before the Roman Empire reached its height, the Mayan civilization had already perfected rooftop water capture for mountain citadels in what is now central Mexico. Underground cisterns have been found beneath ancient Mexican settlements, built specifically for storing rainwater. No contact with the Negev, no contact with the Indus Valley, no shared trade route, no borrowed blueprint, 3 civilizations, 3 continents, 3 completely independent solutions, and they all look the same. Intercept the rain, store it in sealed stone, and use it on your terms, not nature's. The Romans eventually formalized it all. The basilica cistern beneath what is now Istanbul, built in the 6th century AD during the reign of Emperor Justinian by 7,000 workers, is so large you can sail a boat through it. It was constructed to collect rainwater and channel it to the Great Palace of Constantinople. Today it is a tourist attraction. It was once the water independence of an empire. That is not coincidence. That is engineering instinct, the same solution, arrived at by separate minds because the problem was the same and the answer was always falling from the sky. In 2014, a peer-reviewed study published in the journal Sustainability, drawing on research from institutions across Australia, Brazil, and Germany, compiled what? The academic record on rainwater harvesting actually showed the mechanism is deceptively simple and the results are not. Rainwater forms as distilled vapor evaporated from oceans and land surfaces, condensed in atmosphere, falling before it ever touches soil. At the moment it hits a clean rooftop, it is softer than municipal tap water and contains none of the chlorine, chloramines, fluoride compounds, or treatment byproducts that centralized systems must add to meet distribution standards. It is not better than tap water in every application. But for irrigation, laundry, toilet flushing, and with proper filtration drinking, the chemistry is fundamentally different. Municipal water must be treated to survive miles of pipe. Rainwater collected close to the point of use requires far less chemical intervention to reach usable quality. The 2014 sustainability study, synthesizing results from researcher Coombes and colleagues at the University of Newcastle in Australia, documented that across 27 homes fitted with rooftop collection systems, an average of 60% of household potable water demand was offset. Researcher Ghisi and colleagues, publishing from Brazil, found savings ranging from 12 to 79% depending on roof area and tank size, not marginal savings, not rounding error savings. Household water independence measurable, documented, and replicated across multiple countries and climates. Most people walk past this solution every single day without any idea what it can do. The ones who find out tend to make sure the people they care about find out too, the authority confirming all. Of this is not a homesteading blog. It is the peer-reviewed scientific literature indexed, replicated, and sitting in institutional databases that the water industry monitors very carefully. So why is this not on the welcome packet of every new home purchase in America? Here is what a $47 billion industry looks like. These are the companies selling you the commercial alternative to the rain that falls free on your roof. Pure Life, Poland Spring, owned by One Rock Capital Partners. Dasani, the Coca-Cola Company. Aquafina, PepsiCo. Fiji Water. Smart Water, the Coca-Cola Company. You cannot patent train. You cannot trademark the atmosphere. You cannot build a subscription model around a rooftop and a 55-gallon barrel. You cannot charge recurring fees for water that falls from the sky with no invoice attached. This is the structural problem that rainwater harvesting presents to centralized water commerce. The bottled water industry, which recorded producer revenues of $28.2 billion in 2024, according to the Beverage Marketing Corporation, has doubled in size since 2014. Every percentage point of household water independence that scales nationally is a percentage point of revenue that does not materialize. That is not speculation, that is arithmetic. The regulatory environment adds another layer. Until 2016, Colorado state law rooted in an 1802 era prior appropriation doctrine originally written to govern river rights effectively prohibited homeowners from collecting rooftop rainfall in any meaningful quantity. The legal justification was that rain falling on your property technically belonged to downstream water rights holders. Rain falling on your roof belonging to someone else. The law has since been amended to allow up to 110 gallons into containers, a number that, perhaps not coincidentally, represents little threat to municipal water revenues. No company in that list above broke any law. The financial architecture simply made sure that the alternative never got a fair hearing. That is not oversight. That is architecture, deliberate and sustained. Now, here is exactly what to do with rainwater harvesting. You need for things a storage barrel, a downspout diverter, a mesh debris screen, and an overflow pipe. That is the whole system for a starter build. A 55-gallon food-grade plastic barrel costs between $40 and $80 at most farm supply stores, hardware stores, or through online suppliers. A downspout diverter kit, the device that redirects water from your gutter downspout into the barrel, runs $20 to $40 at Home Depot, Lowe's, or Amazon. A stainless steel mesh debris screen, sometimes called a leaf eater, costs $15 to $30 and fits above the diverter to block leaves, insects, and roof material from entering your storage. An overflow pipe fitting is roughly $5 to $10 and is critical without it. Excess water will pool against your foundation. Step 1. Clean your gutters completely before connecting any collection system. Debris in the gutter means debris in your water. Step 2. Position your barrel on a stable elevated platform. A cinder block base 18 to 24 inches high gives you usable gravity pressure at the spigot. Step 3. Cut your downspout at the diverter height, following the kit instructions, and attach the diverter so water routes into the barrel when it rains and overflows. Down the original downspout when the barrel is full. Step 4. Install your stainless steel mesh screen above the diverter. This is your primary filter for large contaminants. Step 5. Drill your overflow hole near the top of the barrel and attach an overflow pipe rooted at least 10 feet away from your foundation. Step 6. Seal the barrel top completely. Mosquitoes require standing water, and an open container is a breeding ground. Every opening gets a screen or a sealed cap. Watch for the barrel to fill visibly within the first hour of a moderate rainstorm on a standard residential roof. A 1,000 square foot roof generates approximately 623 gallons for every inch of rainfall. That is the math working in your favor. If you see no results after the first 3 storms, check 3 things. First, verify the diverter is positioned below the cut in the downspout and not above it. Second, check that the overflow outlet on the diverter is not blocked, preventing water from routing into the barrel. Third, confirm the barrel top is not so tightly sealed that an airlock is preventing water from entering. For maximum safety, do not use this water for drinking without additional treatment. A carbon block filter on the barrel spigot 3050 handles taste and most chemical contaminants. For drinking grade water, add a UV sterilization step or boil collected water for 1 full minute. This is not a limitation of the concept, it is simply the appropriate application of any water source that bypasses centralized treatment. A complete starter system, barrel, diverter, screen, overflow fitting, platform costs between $100 and $150. The average American household spends over $100 per year on bottled water alone, not counting the municipal water bill. That is 1 season of payback on a system that lasts a decade. Every civilization that built something lasting figured this out: the Negev engineers 5,000 years ago, the Indus Valley city planners, the Byzantine emperors who stored water for an empire beneath their streets. Modern science confirmed the mechanism and measured the savings, and a $47 billion industry made very sure. The solution stayed in the margins. This knowledge did not disappear. Someone made sure it stayed buried. What else do you think got buried the same way? If this video opened something for you, subscribe now. The next vault opens soon. What is inside is even heavier than this.